Hello, this is Left Turn Productions, and welcome to race number 5 of the LTPSS season. I know we're already halfway through the year, but the races should start coming a little bit faster coming up here, especially over the summer. And I've got 2 more races after this one for this month that is planned to come out. So, 30 drivers this time here at East City Circuit, the only road course on the schedule, and it's raining. So these guys will be using rain tires in this race. Expect a very different kind of race here at East City Circuit. This is the second time that we've raced on this track in the channel. The first time was in the BMR LTP Pro Series, season number 1 last season. So let's get into some of your stories heading into this race. So first, in the 8 car, you have Flambeau Camaro. He crashed out of qualifying, comes into this race with a backup car in that machine. Definitely not what he wanted to see. He was inside the top 12 in points, so he's going to have to make his way up through the field. And then we've got a few new additions to the field as the one-off start program has kicked off with this race. The number 66 of Cheryl Simmons is in this race. The number 88, Dakota Bennett. The number 32, Tyler Rayner. Bennett and Simmons are making their debut out here today in the 66 and the 88. And this is also the debut race of that number 66 car for Motorsports Business Management, owned by Carl Long. This will be their first race ever on the channel. Tyler Rayner has some BMR and LTP Pro Series starts under his belt already. And then we have the 3 car of Scarlett Rose, the winner at Omaha last race in a last lap pass over Trivia May. She's going to be starting near the back, though, much like her teammate, so she's going to also have to work her way up through the field. And then you have the last of the one-off start drivers, the number 95 of Zach Mers in the Levine Family Racing car. The number 95 has already made a couple starts in this series, but under the 5395 Racing banner before they swapped it over to the number 5 car before All-Star Race weekend. And also there was one other driver that was planned to make a one-off start here, Cam Spinner, who will be driving the 13 for Germain Racing, but he did not qualify for the race, so he will attempt a different one instead. And then you've got the 48 of Brendan Creason, who has had a very bad start to the season. But this is a road course, and he's pretty good at them, so look for him to be a contender for the win here today. And then you've got your drivers up here near the front. Richard Herman, another road course ringer. He's a lot higher up in the points. He could have a good day out here today. LJ Toledo on the outside pole. And Hope Wilmington surprisingly got the pole. I say surprisingly because road courses are not really her forte, but she was able to get the pole out here today and get those 5 extra bonus points. But LJ Toledo still gets 2 and Richard Herman still gets 1. So let's look at your starting lineup. So row 1 is Hope Wilmington and LJ Toledo. Row 2 is Richard Herman and James Johnson. Row 3 is Trivia May and James Edwards. Row 4 is Brendan Creason and Jay Coover. And row 5 is Shane Wensloff and Jacob Hersner. Row 6 is Caleb Campbell and Brian Ferris. Row 7, Brady Wilmington and Grant Hoover. Row 8 is Trey Wright and Zach Mers. Row 9 is the 47 of Dee Pepper and the 3 of Scarlett Rose. And in row 10 is Cookie and Sam Lester. Row 11 is Game Player 88 and Riley Neiman. Row 12, Caleb Rose and Jeff Toledo. Row 13, Tyler Rayner and Dakota Bennett. Row 14, Zachary DeLello and Cheryl Simmons. And rounding out the field is Ray Alton and Flammable Camaro. So there will be 7 laps in this race. And before we take the green flag, I want to mention there are different overtime rules for the road courses, also known as just this one race. They will attempt to run 1 lap instead of just 2 because of how long the layout of the course is compared to the ovals. So there will only be 1 lap in the overtimes and 3 attempts to get that 1 lap to finish under green. So yeah, the pace truck is going to pull off here. Hope Wilmington and LJ Toledo are going to lead them to the green flag here. Green flag in the air here at East City Circuit, and we got a crash already. A crash before they take the green flag, and several cars are involved here on the front stretch, including some of the one-off starters in this, and we still got cars piling in. The 43, Ray Alton, piles in late, and the slickness of the track, the cars just kept sliding around. Look at the junkyard here on the front stretch. Sam Lester, Ray Alton, Scarlett Rose, last race's winner, inside the top 4 in points. This is going to give a big hit to that team. Zach Mers and Tyler Rayner, 2 of the one-off starters. Trey Wright and Game Player 88, who are both at the bottom of the standings, just have had awful seasons. Wow, a crash right off the start of the race, and a big one at that. Let's look at the replay. So you can see right here, this is when they're taking the green flag. Watch out of the exit of the hairpin turn. Up here, I think you can see the 95 and the 34 get together, and they slide down the track. Mers comes back up the racetrack and collects the 3 of Scarlett Rose, and I think D. Pepper got some damage in that as well, but not that much. Sam Lester hard into the inside wall, and they just continue to pile in. And then Ray Alton gets collected right here at the end, just no room for him to go. And as he slides down into the entry of turn 1. Let's look at that one more time. A lot of these guys barely missed it. But yeah, it all started up in turn 6. Either Zach Mers or Trey Wright overdrove the corner. Kind of hard to tell who started that, but it was between the 95 and the 34. They crash up. Cookie does a nice job avoiding it. It looks like actually Game Player 88 got pushed into the wreck by the 53 of Caleb Rose, who was also in that, but he drove away, and he is out of the race as well, and also Tyler Rayner piling in late. Lambo Camaro, they checked that. He might have also gotten damage in that, but not a whole lot. He'll be able to keep going. I believe he hit the outside wall trying to dodge them, and there's Ray Alton in the 43, who's not had a good season either. A lot of these guys are drivers that have just had really bad seasons, but there are a few championship contenders in there as well, including Scarlett Rose in the 3 car. So yeah, don't even make it a lap, not even make it a corner before they started wrecking. So definitely the rain has affected these drivers heavily, and we're going to have a restart here on lap number 2. Alright, same lineup as last time, with Hope Wilmington and LJ Toledo leading them off. We're green here at East City Circuit. Richard Herman looked down to make it 3 wide as the cars slide up on the outside of the track. They're moving a lot slower than they usually would. They got to take it easy here, especially through turn 2. And Hope Wilmington escapes with the lead, as we got a couple cars missing the corner. Caleb Campbell was one of them. Oh, there goes the 47. D. Pepper, who got damage in that last wreck. And he's going to get a little bit more, it looks like, as he scrapes the outside wall. No caution, though, and it looks like he's going to be able to keep going. Meanwhile, Hope Wilmington's still the leader. Richard Herman and LJ Toledo, and now Brendan Creason trying to make it 3 wide. Where did Creason come from? He is already up to second here on maybe the first green flag lap of the race, and now, you remember, he started in 7th position, and he gained 5 spots already. As we see the guys going through the hairpins, we're going to see a lot of drivers overdrive the hairpin here as they start lap number 3, and look at Brady Wilmington, look how high up he is. Oh, Trivia May, Jacob Hersner get into each other. Oh, and the 12th car, Brian Ferris, gets turned around as well. Is that going to be a caution? They won't throw the caution unless they have to, if it's just a spin and they're able to keep it going. And it looks like that's what happens here. Meanwhile, Creason on the outside of Hope Wilmington. That was in turn number 3 as they're heading down the short chute here. Richard Herman going for second over Creason now. Jake Hoover's in the mix as well in the 17. He's won a road course race on the rain before, just not on this channel. And now Herman trying to duck to the inside of Hope Wilmington as Wilmington overdrives it, and it's going to be Richard Herman taking the lead. Oh, Trivia May turns around the 19 of Jacob Hersner, and he noses into the wall. Still no caution, though. He's able to keep it going, and Herman is the leader. As stated before, we're coming up on the halfway bonus here at the end of this lap, and this is the fight for 10th. You can see the 25, the 5, the 62, and the 66 all looking for points here. Cheryl Simmons not even full time, so definitely important for the 25 and 62, but Richard Herman out in front as Creason dives it in to take second away from Hope Wilmington. Oh, and there goes the 66. Cheryl Simmons sliding in turn 1 sideways. Back up into traffic. Nobody hit her. Flammable Camaro somehow saves that thing. I do not know how Flammable Camaro didn't spin it around. And this is for the win of the halfway bonus. Creason on the inside. And Richard Herman now taking the inside here, going into this corner. Herman has the preferred lane, but here comes Jake Hoover to try to make it 3 wide. They make contact, and Creason will scamper away with the full 10 points as they just check up coming out of turn 4 after Jake Hoover sent it in the corner. Now we got 3 laps to go in the race, and this is the race right here for the final points between Grant Hoover and Brady Wilmington, and there goes Caleb Campbell, another one of the drivers inside the top 4, and he immediately brings out the caution as he crashes into the barriers in turn 6. And also Jeff Toledo has come into the pits. He had some damage from some sort of incident that happened earlier. But Caleb Campbell, right here at the end of the lap, crashes into the wall and will cause the second caution of the race. Let's try and see what happened to Caleb Campbell. We saw him overdrive the turn number 2 earlier in the race. Looks like he just lost grip. Going into turn 6. Slides back there. Hard impact with the back end of the car. And it is probably done for the day. That's a tough break for Caleb Campbell, who's had a decent season so far, just hasn't gotten that win. He was the only one in the top 4 heading into this race without a victory. Also the winningest all-time driver on this channel. Let's look again. And this is proof that even the best of them can make big mistakes when a factor that these guys haven't really dealt with comes into play, that being the rain and the rain tires. As he goes into the barrier in turn 6, and that will put an end to his day. So we are going to have a restart, I believe, with just a couple laps to go. Who is going to win it here at East City Circuit? I forgot to mention the midway results here. Grant Hoover got the last midway point that he wrestled away from Brady Wilmington. There you can see him down at the bottom. He will get an extra bonus point. You have Brendan Creason getting the full 10 points. He definitely needed those points. Jake Hoover as well definitely needed the points. Richard Herman was already pretty high up in points, but this will help. And then you have Shane Wenslow, Hope Wilmington, LJ Toledo, James Johnson, Trivia May, your points leader heading into this race, and James Edwards all getting points here. So it's going to be Creason and Jake Hoover who will lead them off here. And the green flag is back in the air. 2 laps to go. Creason down to the inside. He gets a great restart as they roll through turn 1 and now entering turn 2. You got to fight for third place between Wenslow and Herman as they were 3 wide back there. Now going into turn 3, Creason has a pretty big lead. Will Jake Hoover be able to catch up to him as they go down into turn 4? Uh-oh. Back of the pack. Trouble. Jeff Toledo's around and into the wall, and that's going to bring out another caution. As Jeff Toledo continues to slide. Again, with the rain pouring down, just causing drivers to make mistakes. Let's look at the replay. Jeff Toledo, he was the last car running on the racetrack. He lost it coming off of turn 1, going into 2, and he just nailed the wall there, and the car just continued sliding after. He just lost traction. He was in the pits for an extended period of time under that last caution, trying to fix some damage. He had apparently gotten into the wall multiple times around the 19 of Jacob Hersner. They were trying to fix that damage, but unfortunately, they were able to fix it, but then another thing has taken out Jeff Toledo as he nosed it into the barrier, and we are going to have our first attempt at overtime here. And no, it's not our first attempt at overtime. This is actually a scheduled one-lap dash, which you're only going to see on the road courses. And the BMR and LTP Pro Series uses BMR on rules, so there will be one-lap dashes in those races. But this is the first one-lap dash, actually, in the history of the channel that isn't in the BMR and LTP Pro Series. So let's see what will end up happening here. Alright, Creason and Hoover once again gonna lead them off with Richard Herman and Hope Wilmington in the second row. Green flag in the air with the white flag, and we're gonna see if this is the last lap indeed. They gotta make it around. Brendan Creason in the lead now, clear of Jake Hoover, and now Richard Herman is fighting Jake Hoover here. As we got more problems. Trivia May, the points leaders around. And we are going to go into overtime in this race. May just couldn't slow down there as the car continued to slide. Oh, we got another car sliding, about to hit Trivia May. Oh, Jacob Hersner on his side in the 19 car, back on all four wheels. That was a very strange incident there. We're going to have a replay of that one, but we are going to have overtime, and remember, in this race, only one lap for overtime, so it's going to get hairy. But let's look at the replay of what happened to Trivia May and Jacob Hersner. A very strange incident here puts us into overtime here in turn number 2. Trivia May just loses it. Maybe got some help from her teammate Brian Ferris there, who's already had issues in this race and kind of stuck around the 10th position, and May slides it into the barriers. And then you're going to see Jacob Hersner. I have no idea what happened to him. He came in sliding sideways, backs into the car, climbs up on top of the car, gets on the side, and then the car falls back over onto all fours. Let's look at that impact one more time, as May maybe might have been able to continue racing because that impact wasn't that big. But Jacob Hersner comes along, and that's just bad luck for Trivia May. And I guess Jacob Hersner as well. Because Hersner just climbs up on top of the 2 car, gets on the side, fortunately does not go upside down or stay on the side as it rolls back over on all 4 tires. But we are going to have an overtime restart here, coming right up to decide who is going to win the race. Alright, same 2 drivers once again leading us off, Creason and Hoover. Green flag in the air, hopefully for the final time. Creason jumps out again, but not as big of a jump as he would have liked, as Hope Wilmington slides it in there. Gonna hold up the outside lane, and now Grant Hoover's in it. Oh! Jake Hoover spins Brendan Creason out of the lead, and now Hope Wilmington's into the wall, and that might be a caution. And yes, it is. We got overtime. Oh, and Wenzloff into the wall as well. Some nice solid runs coming from Hope Wilmington and Shane Wenzloff will end as we have another overtime restart we're going to have to do. And Brendan Creason got spun out of the lead. It didn't look like he hit anything, though, so he might still be in this. But we're going to have a replay of that. Here is the contact between Jake Hoover and Brendan Creason. Hoover just went in there too hard, and the 48 got spun out. And then Richard Herman and Hope Wilmington make contact, and Wilmington goes into the wall. Caution comes out right about here, so Brendan Creason, despite spinning out, might still restart in the 3rd position. And then there's Wenzloff, and he just got pinched between the 41 and the 42. And he goes into the outside wall. Good runs for both of these drivers. Gonna end early here. As they were up near the front here at the end of this race. And we got another attempt here at overtime. Hopefully we won't have to go to 3 attempts, but we're going to see who's going to end up winning this race. Again, hopefully. This race has just been really wacky. But again, we're going to get into, hopefully, the final restart. All right, the Hoovers are going to lead us off. Jake and Grant, as the green flag's going to fly, hopefully, for the final time, like I said last restart. Jake Hoover has the edge over Grant Hoover, but Brendan Creason's not going to let him get away that easily. Will he use the bumper going into turn 2? And he will, as he bumps Jake Hoover out of the way, and he's going to take the lead. Just like last year in the BMRN LTP Pro Series. And oh, we got some more contact. Grant Hoover and Richard Herman get into it. As they're 4 wide coming out of turn 3. As they're starting to sort it out just a little bit. And now, this is for the win. Brendan Creason and Richard Herman. If they can make it around this lap, Creason tries to arc it into the corner. Herman to the inside. One last chance for Richard Herman coming out of turn 5. He can maybe get him into turn 6 if he sends it in. Here we go. Final corner. Last gas for Richard Herman. He gets to the bumper but not able to do anything. And Brendan Creason is going to run away with this one here at the road course at East City Circuit. As you can see, the field fly on by. Jake Hoover will finish 3rd. Brian Ferris 4th. Grant Hoover 5th. And a photo finish there for 6th. Look at that. 3 wide coming across the line. They go very slowly because they got to pace themselves here. Again, the rain tires and all that. So let's take a look at that finish once more. So on the final restart here, remember the restart before, Jake Hoover got into the back of Brendan Creason and spun him around. Creason remembered that, and he put the bumper to him in turn 3, caused Jake Hoover to take the corner wide. Jake still ended up finishing 3rd, and now they're 3 wide going in through the corner. Herman and Grant Hoover made contact. LJ Toledo up the track and maybe got into the wall there a little bit. Now I think he missed it. But he had to back off because he was on the outside of 4 wide, and they're still 3 wide, which is pretty insane. And then this was going into turn 6. As we cut to that, Herman had one last shot. Almost got to the bumper of Brendan Creason, but couldn't seal the deal. As Brendan Creason is going to get the win after a really rough start to the season. But this will definitely turn it around for him, as we're going to have a look at the finishing results and the points. Here are your race results for this race. Brendan Creason wins, Richard Herman 2nd, Jake Hoover 3rd, Brian Ferris, Grant Hoover round out the top 5. Riley Neiman barely beat out Brady Wilmington for the 6th position. How about Cookie? First top 10 of the season for the driver of that 18 car, who has underperformed so far, but had a solid run out here today. LJ Toledo finishes 9th, and James Johnson will round out the top 10. James Edwards finishing 11th. Flambeau Camaro, who started dead last, finishes 12th. And the highest finishing of the one-off drivers is Dakota Bennett in 13th place, driving for Junior Motorsports. Zachary DeLillo, Cheryl Simmons, another one of the one-off starters, gets a top 15 out here today, and D. Pepper was the last guy to finish the race. As you had Hope Wilmington, Shane Winslow, Jacob Hersner, Trivia May. A lot of contenders here that crashed out. And you can see all these guys that were wrecked out right off the start, from Caleb Rose down. Scarlett Rose, it's going to be a big hit for her in points, as we're about to see. Zach Mers and Tyler Rayner, the other 2 one-off starters in this race. And here are the points. Trivia May still the points leader. She came in with a 23-point lead. That has been whittled down to 4 thanks to May's crash in the race, and Richard Herman having a good run. LJ Toledo was closed in on her too, and Brady Wilmington has snuck into the top 4 alongside Richard Herman. And Hope Wilmington is one of the wildcard spots, but you might notice the other ones all the way down here. Scarlet Rose falls from 4th to 12th in points, but thanks to that win, she still has the second wildcard spot, or rather the first wildcard spot actually. Caleb Campbell fell out after this. He does not have a wildcard spot, nor is he inside the top 4. He's definitely going to want to climb in coming here soon, because the championship weekend at Evansville is approaching. Now, this was race number 5, and race 12 is the last race that they have to get in. As you can see some other guys in here. Brian Ferris just barely outside of a wildcard spot. James Johnson, Flambeau Camaro, Jake Hoover, Riley Neiman, all inside the top 12. And then we got the rest of these guys down here. I'm only showing the top 26 because the one-off starters are not going to be contending for the championship. So you can see all these guys down here. Brendan Creason and Jacob Hersner both have wins but are below the wild card cut. If they were to jump inside the top 12, they'd get one of the wild card spots. Or at least they'd have a higher chance of it. As we get more winners in the season, it's not going to be a guarantee to have a wild card spot if you jump in there with a win. But Brendan Creason, who was much further back, about 22nd in points, has jumped up to 14th with that really good performance. And Jacob Hersner still trying to get inside that top 12. Grant Hoover gained a lot over that. And yeah, you can see the rest of the field there. So congratulations to Brendan Creason on the win here. A much well-deserved one, and as he was one of the dominant cars, and one he was definitely waiting for after the miserable start to the season. So the next race is going to be the BLPS race at the fairgrounds, also known as Glenville, and then later in the month will be the next LTPSS race at Mackenzie Stadium with the street stock cars. So thank you guys for watching. This is Left Turn Productions, signing out.